James Charles says an Uber driver threatened to hit him. A YouTuber has got 50 years in prison for kidnapping. Logan Paul has become emo. And of course, it's a return of YouTuber Watch. Who will it be this week? All this with a theme song by the Doja Cat. Didn't even know this. Why don't you know this? What are the things you know? Not this. On this week's edition of YouTuber News, hosted by me, Benedict Townsend, and brought to you by PopBuzz, the only website that thinks you got potential, kid, but you're not focused. You need to get your head out of those books and into the game, or you're never gonna make varsity. Hey, don't cry. And more importantly, if you don't win this big game, you're never gonna earn my respect as your dad. No, Dad, I wanna be a writer. I don't wanna be a sportsman like you. No son of mine's gonna be a writer. It's 2007. I'll show you, Dad. I'll grow up and I'll be a famous writer. And that boy's name was J.R.R. Tolkien. Anyway, let's do the stupid stories. Our first story, James Charles says he was threatened with physical violence by an Uber driver in Orlando, Florida. James is on his way to Playlist Live, which is a YouTube online festival. You got YouTubers there, you got TikTok stars there. This is the only thing I know about TikTok, so I just do it every time. And James was there for a Q&A and to sell some of his sister's apparel merch. James tweeted on Twitter on February 28th, at Uber support. Hi, one of your drivers in Orlando just called my employee and I dumbasses and threatened to hit us. Please contact me as soon as possible. Not to in any way downplay how bad that is, but I do think it's funny that James called him an employee and not like a friend or acquaintance. Like, oh my God, me and this guy who very much works for me and nothing more were really threatened by this guy. Now, naturally, James's fans were very worried for him. One fan tweeted, WTF, that's so unprofessional and rude, you don't deserve that. While another added, James, WTF, I'm so sorry, unprofessional and gross. I hope you are able to leave and find safer transport, open brackets. This is why I don't trust Uber. Now, luckily, Uber got back pretty fast saying, quote, we take this very seriously. Please send us a DM with your email address and phone number so we can connect ASAP. A really horrible situation all round, but we're glad that James and his employee, not his friend, his employee, were ultimately fine. Are you employees enjoying today's episode? This lady who laughs, don't know her name. Cameraman. You presumably have lives, families. Wouldn't know, don't care. But enjoy. Our second story, a YouTuber has been given 50 years in prison for kidnapping. That's right, a YouTuber kidnapped a woman in the Mexican state of Chihuahua, and a more immature news show would make some kind of comment about Chihuahuas or Beverly Hills Chihuahua or one of those things. And now he's been sentenced to 50 years in prison. Germán Abraham Luera Acosta, and I'm sorry, I know I mispronounced all of that, staged the kidnapping in February 2018. They kidnapped a 33-year-old lawyer and forced her into a car. He then himself rented a house where they kept that woman hostage and demanded a ransom of 2 million pesos in Bitcoin for her release. Now, the good news is the woman was rescued by police just 2 days later, and they captured 4 of the people in the group. There was a big group who did this. In addition to the hefty prison sentence, the group will also have to pay a £20,000 fine. No, it's not a prank. This wasn't for YouTube. He's a YouTuber who is also a criminal, like most YouTubers. Chihuahua District Attorney Cesar Peniche. Now, that means he's the District Attorney of Chihuahua. It doesn't mean he's a district attorney who is a Chihuahua. I know what some of you are thinking. Chihuahua is a place, and he is the district attorney of that place, all right? So let's be mature. Anyway, he said, quote, rough. The Chihuahua district attorney described Acosta, the YouTuber, as, quote, a very experienced person in internet communication who tried to use the internet to sort of shield what was happening. You know, they were using Bitcoin, they thought it wouldn't be traceable, but it was, quote, traceable at the end of the day. At that point, he spotted a small squirrel and ran away very fast. Now, I know what some of you are wondering. What kind of YouTuber is he? How have I heard of him before? Well, he describes himself as an entrepreneur, which is a fancy way of saying unemployed. And on his channel, he says, quote, I think the mind is the only thing that limits us. Which used to be true. There are now 2 things that limit him. The mind and 50 years in prison, so. And to further add to the irony, he also took part in the World Congress of Young Leaders for Peace, where he also gave some speeches. So irony all round, bad man. And I'd like to wrap up by apologizing to the entire state of Chihuahua and all those people for my immature jokes. It's just because, I don't know if you know this, but Chihuahua is also the name of a type of dog. So I don't know if people knew that. So that's why I made this. Our third story, Logan Paul has become an emo. finally, we can cover something serious on this show. Logan posted a brand new video on the very day that we record this episode, in fact, New Year's Eve 1999, and he says his views have really dipped, and he's begging his viewers to watch his videos and to encourage people to subscribe. He says he's been doing increasingly desperate things to get views. For example, he did a race down a slide in a burlap potato sack, and he made a bet on that race that if he lost, he would get his nipple pierced, which he did. And apparently, because of this nipple piercing, everyone has been making fun of him, calling him emo, and so he decided to take their words to heart and become an emo. Now, you see, there's this viral picture, this is the picture, of an emo, a young emo, that people say looks like Logan Paul. And he said in this video that that's not him, quote, until today. And so in the video, Logan shaves, he puts on makeup, he dyes his hair, and he becomes this man. Thank God we're covering real news today. I know Logan quite well, not personally, but obviously as part of this show, I've done a lot of research, and I think that probably his emo tendencies started probably back when he was probably a young boy, when his dad, his father, if you will, took him into the town, well, the city. There was this marching band there, and well, his dad pretty much showed him this marching band, and at that point he thought, I'm gonna be real sad. So Panic at the Disco joke. When I was a young boy, my father took me to the city to see a marching band, and I had high hopes for a living. Oh, Hayley Williams, what a voice. Now, we're not always the kindest to Logan Paul on this show, but I will say I find this genuinely entertaining. This is probably the best piece of content I've ever seen Logan Paul do. He just looks really fun. But if he is feeling genuinely sad, we shouldn't make fun of this. If he is feeling genuinely sad, I heard some great advice recently from his brother, actually, Jake Paul, who said that if you're feeling anxious, just don't, because that's your choice. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we spoke about this on a previous episode of YouTube News. Why don't you go watch that 100 or 200 times, get those views up. But yeah, apparently anxiety is just your choice. So if you're feeling sad, Logan, just don't. And that's our YouTuber News advice of the day. Just be happy, doofus. Next up, we've got YouTuber Watch, but before that, I've noticed that there's not been enough rat content on this show lately, and I think that is the fault of one person and one person only, you, the viewers. So I would like you to send me, on Twitter, @BenedictTown, I would like you to send me rat fan art, and I would like it to be as bad as you could possibly do, or as overly detailed as possible. But I want fan art for the rat. He's not getting the appreciation he deserves from you only. I'm doing great. Now it's time for YouTuber Watch, a popular segment where I zoom in on one YouTuber and tell you what they got up to this week. And this week is going to be none other than Dan Howe. It's time for Dan Howe Watch. So last time on YouTuber Watch, long story short, Dan Howe ripped off someone's face, and it was either going to be Jacksepticeye, popular YouTuber, or former British Prime Minister Gordon Brown. And naturally, everyone voted for Gordon Brown. Here's what happened. Hey, I got a FaceTime call for you. Your face. And it's time for it to go off. And Dan ripped off Tim's face, and who was under there but former British Prime Minister Gordon Brown. And the good thing is, no one really knows what Gordon Brown sounds like. So I could... Well, Dan. Looks like you've caught me red-handed. So you're after Tim's gold, are you? Well, I'd give you one piece of advice, laddie. You best wrap up this Dan Howe Watch real quick, because nobody's on board with this. Hold on, let me stop you right there. I can't help but notice a small bit of loose skin around your neck. Could it be that you are wearing yet another mask? Whoopah! And he lifted up the mask, and who was under there but Tim? Ha-ha! You have passed my test. That is the very first step in a 468-step process if you are to find my gold. Gadzooks and... Jiminy f***ry, that's a crazy little quest you've given us there. Anyway, then Dad woke up. What a crazy dream! What a crazy dream! An inconclusive dream. But I'm back home. I'm just resetting. This has been Dan Howe Watch. So, what an episode of Dan Howe Watch. What should happen next week? Dan still needs to have adventures, so I'm going to place Dan in your hands. What is Dan going to do on next week's Dan Howe Watch? Leave a comment down below if you're on YouTube, or you can tweet me @BenedictTown on Twitter and tell me what you'd like Dan to do, and I will pick either the best comment or the most popular comment or the comment that seems easiest to make a story out of. And that will be what happens next week on Dan Howell Watch, the only show that has Dan Howell in it. At this point, he's been quite quiet lately. I'm Benedict Townsend, this is YouTuber News, which airs every week on the YouTuber News YouTube channel, Snapchat Discover, PopBuzz Instagram account, all kinds of places. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please could you hit subscribe? If you can do so on a platform, you can subscribe on Snapchat by swiping up on the last snap of this story. You can subscribe on YouTube by hitting subscribe. It's pretty easy, kids. If you can hit like as well, that really helps us out with algorithms and stuff, means more people will see it in their sub boxes. Tonight is the Global Awards, and the YouTuber News podcast, as you may know, is nominated for Best Podcast. By the time you see this episode, we'll know whether we've won or not. So I'm going to quickly record 2 versions, and then you can just drop both in. So either, we did it, we won, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. Your votes, your support has been amazing. I want to thank every single viewer who voted. You guys are just the best, I love you. So use that if we won. We lost, and it's your fault. Every single one of you, if you didn't work a little bit harder to vote and picking your damn nose to vote, but no, it's all about you, isn't it? It's all about you and not about me and my awards. We are not on speaking terms. And then just drop that in if we lose. And then just cover both bases. All your base and belong to us. It's so random. See you next week, folks, and don't forget,